Here to say we got your back. It's not your average girl that podcast. Girl that podcast. Girl that. It's the Girl That podcast. Girl that. It's TJ3 and the Great Roeski.
Hey, yo, what up? It's your brother, Roeski.
And your boy TJ3.
And we checking in one time for the one time. We'd like to welcome you to the Not Your Average Girl Dad podcast, where we give you faith, family, and the fundamentals of life. We're going to say things that'll make you laugh, things that'll make you smile, things that'll make you go, ooh, and ah. And then I will eat. And it's all unto the glory of God. So without further ado, we want you to kick off your shoes and relax your feet and party on down to this girl that beat. Just kick it.
Okay.
Just kick it. I've been drinking water, TJ3. That's what water will do for you.
It's good for you. Water is good for you.
What's going on, sir? How are you doing today?
I'm great, my boy. I'm great, Brody. I am great. I am feeling good. I'm feeling great. Great day, great week. Looking forward to the conversation.
We are excited about today's show. Such a great show. My God. So, first off,
what's up?
Before we get into it, I got to let y'all know how today's show came about. We are shouting out all the fathers, okay? And we're not talking about just biological. We're talking about spiritual. If you ever coached Little League, middle school, high school, JV, varsity, if you've ever just been a father figure, this show is to celebrate you. We just want to say thank you for all that you have done.
Thank you.
And investing in the next generation. We know that your sacrifice did not go unnoticed, so we just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? And it's because of that, my boy TJ3, Lord have mercy. You know, he's just always being great and everything. You know, he sneezed greatness. But anyway.
Sneeze greatness.
This
Sneeze greatness. Okay.
Right. Great. But anyway.
That's great.
But this episode stemmed from a little backdrop. My boy TJ3 had the honor and the privilege of being the keynote speaker for graduation class. Shout out to the winning church.
Yes, sir.
At this church. Shout out to man and woman of God, please.
Shout out to Bishop Harvey B. and his First Lady, Dr. Veronica B. Thank you so much for the opportunity to pour into our graduates. So big shout out to them in the winning church.
And let me tell you, man, he was telling me everything about how it was a lot to set up and things of that nature. But when I tell you, they did a fantastic job. I mean, they had the bulls thing. I mean, like, I haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah,
and I
man.
got hyped. Like, I really thought Michael Jordan was going to come out. Like, he go to y'all church too. But anyway, they did an excellent job. Talk about the preparation. How was that getting all that together?
My Lord. To be honest, Brody, I just showed up for the recording. Big shout out to Elijah Wilson. That is one of our team leaders and 2023 graduates. So he has a vision and he's very talented in media, video, and recording. He gave me the vision. I showed up and just made the vision happen. And he did all the editing along with our media team, and they got together and they did a great job and brought that to life, really brought that to life. And I was very proud and excited to see his work on display and to just be a part of it. So he did a lot of the work. I just kind of, as a leader, just sit back, let him do his thing and watch him go. And I think it was a great product, and I think God was pleased. I think his people were blessed by it, and I hope that all of the 2023 graduates, they saw it and they were able to take something from it that'll propel them in the next phase of their lives. So shout out to Elijah.
That's big, man. And the guy, I take it he's a young cat too, right?
Yeah. I think he's 18. Wow. So he's about to get ready to go out to college. I think he's going to Full Sail. So I think that's going to be where he takes his talents. You know, they say taking your talents to
taking my
South Beach.
talents to Full Sail.
He's taking his talents to Full Sail. Not South Beach, but it is in Florida. I believe he's going to be doing some great things down there.
And big shout out to the big homie. What's his name?
Elijah Wilson.
Big shout out to the big homie Elijah.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless you.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, sir. And so, like I said, we're talking about just investing in the next generation. And that was just one of many things that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
But what really gave me the inspiration for this particular episode was, of course, my boy TJ3, like I said, he was the keynote speaker. And of course, when you get ready to speak, you want a fly introduction. It's only fitting. He had the opportunity of none other than his wife, Mrs. Valencia Jones, to introduce him. And my God.
Wow.
That introduction was second to none. Yeah. I mean, it floored me. It was so much. I had to keep winding it. I was like, okay, I eventually need to get to the message. But that introduction, I mean, just the honor, the respect, the recognition of the sacrifice that her husband made.
Yeah.
Y'all, V had stats. It was just off the chain. And obviously, when she introduced her husband, man, let me tell y'all, TJ3 got up there like boo-hooing. You know the type of crying, like somehow you got boogers too because you've been crying so hard. Like my boy TJ3 was crying. We talking about when Big Mama died on Soul Food. My boy TJ3, like Jack and Rose, when they're like, promise me, Rose, promise me. And then he froze it up. I mean, I'm telling you. Yeah, we taking you back, man. Matter of fact, I got one better than that.
What's up?
Blank Man. When Blank Man lost J5. My boy TJ3 was boo-hooing, but it just goes to show you just the honor and the respect and appreciation. A lot of times we do things and we don't do it for recognition, but it is nice to know that somebody sees what we're doing and it's not being taken for granted. Shout out to Mrs. Valencia Jones. Ma'am.
You go, girl.
Let me tell you something. You definitely gave your husband his flowers while he is still here on this side of the earth. First off, what was going through your mind during that introduction?
Wow. First off, just shout out to my baby for that introduction because it's crazy because we know each other and we live with each other. We do life together. And I wasn't expecting that. She has introduced me before. She has said some very kind, great words to introduce me when I spoke in the past. But this one floored me and it touched me to the core to where all of my emotions was all over the place. Because when we talked about it, she said that she had something in mind, but she had not really written anything down. So on the way to church, I knew, I was like, I don't think she still had an opportunity to write anything down because we had a really busy weekend leading up to graduation Sunday. We came off of a weekend where our oldest baby girl was graduating K5. And she graduated salutatorian. Shout out to our baby.
Shout
out. Get that salutatorian, Kalani.
You go, girl.
So we came off of that. That was a great experience, just celebrating with her as she got her awards and as she walked across the stage. And then on that Saturday, we celebrated with our teens. We had our fly sneaker ball, which was amazing. It was so amazing. God be the glory. Just sitting there, listening to the words and to what she was saying about me, it touched me because in my mind, it wasn't just me. I know she was talking about me, but I was so proud of us, what we're able to do together. It made my heart cry. It actually made me cry. When I say I tried my best to kind of like hold it in, because I'm like, I'm finna get up here. I'm finna go speak. I don't want to be with the ugly face. And as soon as I got close to her, the first things I kept telling her was, I love you and we do this together. This is only possible because we do this together. This is only possible for me to get up here and do ministry and to be an influence to God's people the way that he wants me to be because of who you are, because I am encouraged by what you do, being my wife, seeing her fulfill ministry, going up, traveling, being a travel nurse. Because a lot of people don't look at outside occupations and service as being ministry, but that is ministry. Like Jesus was always on the move. Jesus was in the church and he was a moving church. He was a moving organism. And I enjoy watching my wife do what she does on a consistent basis every week, not just being superwoman at the hospital and at home, but just being superwoman with school because she's pursuing her master's degree. So even though she was introducing me, I felt like it was her flowers as well because you allow me to do this and you allow me to do this while you're still being great. So that's what caught my heart.
That's what had your heart crying.
Yeah, man.
Everything was crying. I thought I was crying for a second.
But I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm definitely grateful for my wife.
We're going to play just a clip from the introduction, and we hope that you are blessed by it.
So the speaker coming before you today is no stranger to the Winning Church. He is our very own youth leader. I've been blessed to be his for almost 13 years now. 7 of those, I've carried his last name. He's the best father to our 2 beautiful daughters, Kalani 5 and Zuri 2. So real quick, shameless plug for those that don't know yet. Kalani is the Winning Academy's 2023 kindergarten class salutatorian. So our K-5 student finished her kindergarten year with a 4.0 GPA, light work, earning the title of the 2nd highest ranked in her class. So back to Terry. So I felt it necessary to mention that for 2 reasons. First and foremost, I'm an extremely proud mama. And second, because it's a testament to my husband's amazing ability as a father and husband. So for over a year now, I've traveled for over 110 miles away from home, and I'm away at least 3 days a week for work. So for those 3 days, he's a single father, and he stepped in to ensure that the household did not skip a beat. When experiencing a change as such, statistically speaking, Kalani should have experienced academic difficulties, disruptive behaviors, and a depressed mood, but the devil is a liar. To add to that, I am also currently enrolled full-time for my master's degree, and I've maintained a 3.7 GPA all under the awesome leadership of my husband. Now, if those few facts don't speak volume to the type of man that's coming before you, then you're just difficult to impress. And that's fine. I know he's all that, and I'm not keeping quiet about him anytime soon. So, thank you for being a living example of the principle putting family first and family being your first ministry. We love you. Now, congregation, stand on your feet and welcome to the podium my husband, Mr. Terry Jones.
My God, just power. Like, Lord have mercy. I told my wife, babe, you taking notes? Cause anyway. Shout out to my baby too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Miss Ashlyn Jones. But one of the things that I love what V said that really caught my attention was she's a travel nurse. Mm-hmm. So she's gone anywhere from 3 to 4 days out the week. Mm-hmm. And TJ3 has 2 little ones. And so you can understand that it's challenging sometimes when a lot of things that the mother does, now the father has to do.
Right.
And one of the things that I love what V was saying was how statistics will show that when the mother's gone or she's off, that the child, in so many words, is supposed to regress.
Right.
I think she was saying mentally, psychologically,
academically.
Academically, emotionally.
Right.
Supposed to regress. And Kalani was salutatory. Like,
right.
my God, second in her class.
Right.
The thing that got me was the fact that she didn't regress.
Yeah.
She's probably at the highest she's ever been, and we know she's going higher.
Yeah.
And it's a shout out to all the things that you had to do, but you didn't complain about it. You stepped up and you made the sacrifices that needed to be made, which gets me to my first question I have for you. What was one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome?
Biggest challenge, balancing it all. But what I wanted to do was harmonize. I wanted to try to harmonize things in our lives because things were starting to become more challenging, being that she's traveling, she's in school, and a lot of the responsibility fell on me as the leader, as the husband, as a father, to take care of home. That's why I don't necessarily agree with or believe in marriage is 50-50.
Right. Please say that.
I don't believe that marriage is 50-50 because marriage is whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
I believe marriage is whatever it takes. In a season where my wife is in school pursuing her master's in midwifery, in a season where she is traveling, where she's away 3 to 4 days, sometimes even 5 or 6, that has come up throughout the course of her travel contracts. So even though she was away, she was very present, like FaceTime, phone calls. She was very present in the morning and at bedtime on these calls. It still was challenging for me because physically, I still had to go to work every morning.
Right.
I still had to get Kalani up for school. Some nights, some days, I would even have Zuri as well. If she wasn't going over to my mother-in-law's place, I'll have Zuri as well. So you start thinking about all these different things to try to balance everything. And that's what I think the biggest challenge was just trying to balance so much of everything that was going on because I'm not just one-dimensional. So it can become challenging because I'm human. So you get tired. You get tired. You get exhausted. You get to a point where there were some days I did complain, whether that was complaining to God, being like, man, this is just a lot harder than I thought it would be, or venting. I would say venting.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Venting and being honest with my wife, just saying, hey, you're pursuing your dreams. I know this is what you want to do, but I'm going to just be honest. I'm overstimulated here. And she would encourage me and talk me through it and remind me that, hey, this is something that's seasonal. So something that helped me a lot during that process, of course, is prayer, spending time with God, but also just sometimes just doing some stuff that I just want to do. For example, like just going to a movie, not go see a movie by myself. And that can be very helpful. So the challenge of balancing it all was the biggest challenge.
I got one thing that comes to mind.
What's up?
When me and you talk all the time, obviously, the time that you told me about, I believe it was Kalani, was just saying that she misses her mom.
Yeah.
Now, talk about that. I know that had to do something to you because she's young, so she doesn't quite understand everything that's going on right now. So how did you face that? And then how were you able to overcome that? When your little girl said, I miss mommy, it's that thing kind of, it hit me a little bit. So how do you overcome that? What was your feelings in that moment?
So first I would respond to her, I miss her too.
Right, you're not the only one,
I remind her, you're not
I
the
lay
only
next
one.
to her every night.
Trust me, I miss her too. But I just remind her that mommy's out doing some great stuff, right? Mommy is out being a great nurse. But what I try to remind her is that mommy is doing this because she loves us and she loves what she does. and it's only temporary. She's going to be back. She's coming back. She's not going to leave us. I just try to give them confidence that they're well taken care of. She would understand that I'm going to get to talk to mommy on FaceTime in the morning. We pray together in the morning. She works night shift. So when she's getting off in the morning, helping remind her that, hey, mommy is still present. Yeah, she's away, but she's still very much here. I think it was earlier on when Kalani was first starting school, back in like 2021, earlier on in that time frame is when I think we was kind of having some of the temper tantrums in the morning where she didn't want to go to school because she wanted mommy to take her. But here recently, within the last year or so, she's been very, very understanding about the process.
To me, that's what really made that moment so special.
Right.
Was because it was the teamwork. I was reading this book. You know, I'm always reading. Me and you both always reading.
I always read. I love it. I love it. Trying to be like you when I grow up.
It was this book, 5 Love Languages. Y'all shout it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm using the bathroom, reading the book. But anyway, it might be a little TMI. Anyway, but the book talked about 2 main ingredients for any long-lasting relationship. That is adaptability, adjustments.
Yeah.
Adaptability has to do with the major change.
Right.
And the adjustments has to do with small changes.
Right.
But both are very important in a long-lasting relationship. There was some major changes that you both had to make.
Yeah.
But you all did it. It was teamwork. That, to me, just blessed me because it just shows that in any relationship, to step up to the plate and take care of your kids, obviously you're going to take care of them, but you go the extra mile. Yeah, you used help when you could. Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
But it's not like you just passed your kids off like, here. No, like you stepped in, you did what you had to do.
Right.
And you learned from it. Kids learned from it. V learned from it and are continuing to learn from it. And you guys are, to me, closer than ever now because that bond. I had the pleasure one time, me and TJ3 and Jalen, shout out to Jalen, went to a concert and it was late. And so TJ3 went to go pick up Kalani and he was just holding her and you could just see when she was in his arms, it was just like, there's no place I'd rather be in safety and security. And obviously, you know, that's your daughter, but it's a feeling like that when you're able to establish that bond. And just real quick, TJ3.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I know we talked about this a little bit. What keeps you motivated doing more for your children?
Number one, because I know that's what God wants for us. He sets the greatest example. He sets the greatest example by being the type of father that he is. I always say all the time, I know that he's God. I think we sometimes as people underestimate that he is God, meaning that he knows everything. He created everything. He is in everything. He is just a being that is far beyond our understanding. But in the midst of being that grand, that expansive, that vast, that gigantic, being that big, he's still a father. He's still a father, meaning that he still cares for you, meaning that he still has a plan for you, meaning that he still wants the best for you.
Right.
All because he loves you. As a father, he knows best. He is positioning us for the best. As a father, I try to lean on the fact that the greatest example is our Heavenly Father. And I just want to please him, but not just please him, but I want to show up. I want to show up for the people that I love and that God has blessed me to serve and lead as a husband, as a father, as a leader. The Bible talks about how men are priests of their home. So to be the priest of my home, to know that everything rises and falls on just me showing up. Your job as a husband, as a leader, as a father is to ensure that you're positioning your family for health, for success, for spiritual growth, even in the smallest details and smallest situations. It's not going to always be perfect. It's not going to always be spot on. It's not going to always be the way that you expect it to be. But the essence of it is that is your responsibility as a man of God. That is your responsibility as a father. That is your responsibility as a husband, as a leader, that you stand in and you show up for the people that God has graced and allowed you to lead and show up for.
And that's one thing I've learned is just show up.
Yeah.
You're not gonna always have all the answers.
You
You're
won't.
not gonna have all the experience.
You won't.
You're not gonna always know what to do, but
You won't.
just show up,
Just show up.
and be teachable.
Right. That's good.
Be teachable. Show up. Learn to say I'm sorry to your children. They
Yes.
need to hear I'm sorry. We need to say I'm sorry. You know, we're teaching them how to say I'm sorry. Your children will be what they see. Children will forgive you, but you don't want them growing up harnessing resentment.
Yeah.
And so, how old is Kalani?
5.
Right. Miracle's 4.
Yeah. Right behind her.
Miracle's getting ready to start pre-K. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I'm going to ask TJ3, like, so how'd you do this? What about this? What about this? Because his daughter has went through that and obviously killed it.
Yeah. She just followed in the footsteps of greatness. Her mom was a salutatorian, a high school salutatorian at Northeast High School. So she just followed in the footsteps of greatness. And I love it because it was just such a great moment because it's like, wow, she is so much like V because she's so intelligent and everything that she does, she wants to be the best. And that's one of the things that I love about my wife is her ambition to be her very, very best. We were talking about showing up and how important it is as a father to just show up and be in place to lead your wife and lead your daughters and be the man of God that you called to be. In showing up, man, you have been a Superman yourself. We're talking about giving flowers where they are due. And I say this not just because you're my brother and you're my friend, but I am very proud of you and watching how you have evolved and grown as a person and as a man, as a husband, as a dad, especially in a season of your life where things wasn't going the way you wanted financially.
Oh, Lord, you say that again.
You were kind of, very versatile in occupations because you was trying to get the money up and you wasn't seeing the fruit of your labor in the way that you were expecting. And
right.
to see how you have persevered and are persevering and how your family is continuing to grow and how you're not there where you want to be yet, but you're getting there and you can see that God is doing some great things in your life. I would say, man, I'm proud of you. And I just think you are a great man of God, a great example.
Wow.
I'm connected to such a great talent.
Oh my God.
Such a great person, inside, outside. I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
In the midst of all of that, in showing up, what has been the biggest challenge for you these past few years as a father, as you've been there for your girls and been there for your wife and just being who you are? What's the biggest challenge in just being the great Roeski?
The biggest challenge has definitely been finances. I will admit, like you said, a little backdrop. When we had our third baby girl, Eden, she was born June 7th, but she had a lot of complications when she was born. Her left lung collapsed and she had fluid and things of that nature. Obviously, she started off in the NICU. She came like a month early.
Yeah.
So she wasn't fully developed. And she started off in the NICU. And things were getting better. So we went home. And you know how it is. One gets sick. They spray the whole house. And she couldn't afford to get sick.
Yeah.
And so she got sick and it did more damage. She had to go from the NICU to the PICU. I didn't even know there was a PICU. Like,
Me either.
I was like, there's a PICU? Like, that was news to me. Seriously. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I learned that from my wife. So
right. Yeah. And speaking of, V coached us up.
Yeah.
Like, she coached us everything. Like, hey, make sure you get this. Make sure you ask this. Make sure you know if you need this, you need this. And and I just want to shout out to y'all because TJ3 opened up his house for me and my family to stay. Took care of us, all the traveling back and forth. Of course, I had to go to work. So I just want to say thank you for opening up your house and just make sure we was good.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Brody.
In the midst of that, I had to take a lot of days off work because we're in Albany, but we're traveling to Macon. We're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, drop the girls off here, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
It really did a toll because I had to miss a lot of days of work. It wasn't like we were just in Albany then. my wife, she could handle the majority of it, which she still didn't make it, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I had to travel back and forth. And man, those finances, those bills, they didn't care nothing about what was going on. Hey, you still got to pay me, brother.
They gonna keep stacking.
Even after baby girl got better, my wife still had to step off her job because baby girl can go to any type of daycare for at least 6 months.
Right.
In today's economy where it takes 2 incomes to run a household, like it takes that. We were only down to 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was starting a new job, so I didn't even got my foot all the way in the door yet. What I had to learn was that there was going to be some sacrifice that had to be made. And
yeah,
I'm used to working about 8 hours. There was like times where I was sick 13 hours a day.
Jesus. Whew.
Yes, God. The thing that blessed me was when my wife, she put a post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Highlighting everything that I did. And it was out the blue. It wasn't my birthday. It was just a normal day. And she put it out there and it blessed me because I knew she always appreciated it. But it's just good to hear that somebody appreciates you. Man, it made me want to go hard. I was like, shoot, give me 16 hours the next day. Man, if I'm working 24-hour shift. Like,
this is for you, baby.
Anyway, right?
This is for you.
Right. Let's go. Anyway. But yeah, that has been the most difficult part. It's definitely been the finances, cutting down 2 incomes to 1.
Yeah.
But through it all, I can say this. God has been faithful.
Yes.
He's definitely been faithful. I can honestly say it's only by his grace.
Yeah.
That we was able to close on a house.
Yeah.
Bigger house, paying less than we did at our apartment.
Come on, pay less?
Yeah, pay less. Man, let me tell you. The thing that I really started to see was when you take care of God's family.
I like that.
That's
true.
We're just stewards.
That's good.
Over his family.
Yeah.
Good stewards will always have more. And bad stewards will always be taking away what they have. I had to learn how to be a good steward over God's family.
Yeah.
And that means sacrificing. Yeah. It's just funny. I tell my wife knows this. I told TJ3 this, but on my birthday, I wasn't going to no job. Is you crazy? That's my day. That day, I'm calling the shot.
That's the great Roeski's day.
For me.
For me.
For me.
The great Roeski's day.
That was the longest day I ever worked. I worked a 14-hour shift. You know it's long when you go in, it's dark, and then you get off, it's dark.
Oh, Lord.
And, man, when I tell you my dogs was hollering, I'm talking about hollering. And my feet hurt so bad. My feet were hurting so bad. But the thing that blessed me, I never complained.
Yeah.
I never complained. I wanted to complain, don't get me wrong. But I thought about it, and I was just like, if anybody is worth it, it's my family.
Oh, yeah.
And it was on my birthday.
Yeah.
And so I came home, of course, I showered up. My wife cooked dinner. And, man, I went straight to sleep. And after that post, my wife, one day we was laid up in the bed. She just said, baby, I thank you because you are the man of my dreams.
Wow. That's powerful.
Now, me and my wife, we went through some things.
That's powerful. Yeah.
And for her to say that, it was God saying, good job.
That's
son.
powerful. Yeah.
It was on my Father's Day.
Yeah.
God is the ultimate father.
Yeah.
So he was telling his son, good job. I just learned how to shift, and I just learned how to be thankful for what we got.
Yeah.
And God saw us through. I mean, it was at one point, I may have had like 20 hours on the check.
Wow.
And money just came in from everywhere. I remember one time I was at home just chilling, and I'm not going to name the person, but guy from my church, he said, hey, man, I just got wind of, baby girl, she good? I'm like, yeah, man, she's good. He's like, okay, man. He said, what's your cash app, man? I just want to bless you. I'm thinking it's going to be like, 20, 30, but whatever it is, I'm grateful for it. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a couple hundreds, like hundreds.
Couple hundred.
Like more than 2. Rent hundreds. like mortgage 100. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The Lord definitely provided for us in a supernatural way we could not explain.
Yeah.
But that was the greatest difficulty, was going down to one income.
Yeah.
In a society now where two incomes is kind of pushing.
Exactly, man.
That was the biggest challenge.
Man, that is so encouraging. That is so encouraging. And if you don't mind, I just kind of want to share some of what she said in that post to talk about how awesome you are. She said, this man goes to work at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m., I still be asleep.
When you realize you got to get up, you really make it count. The last hour, I got to make this sleep count.
I got to make it count.
Got to make it count.
This man goes to work at 6 a.m. So that means you up probably at what, like 5:30?
The latest.
My Lord. So for you, oh Jesus, this man goes to work at 6 a.m., gets off and goes straight to night school, gets home at 10:30 p.m. Again, people, I told you this was Superman.
Oh, yeah, right.
And still makes sure he reads the girls their bedtime story and leads them in prayer every night. Again, showing up every night. Not to mention, he stays up to study before bed, then does it all over again. You're the best. You're appreciated, babe. Demetrius Jones, the great Roeski, people. Man, that is a beautiful thing. I just wanted to share that post. I thought it was pretty awesome.
You know, the thing was, you can easily complain.
Yeah.
Or you could pass off responsibility. But you know what? It was two things that kept me motivated to still reading their bedtime stories. I could just say, okay, babe, you read their bedtime story. But I wanted to read it.
Right.
Number one, my girls, they knew daddy's going to work, daddy's going to school after work.
Yeah.
It was a sacrifice for my wife because my wife had to take them to church, had to take them here. And that's 3 girls and Eden. Good Lord, she's heavy. Jesus. Shout out to the village because she would get help from different people at church and stuff like that. Right. One of the things I wanted them to know that this is what a real man does for his family.
Yeah.
We dread these days, TJ3, but they're going to get older. They're going to start dating. And they're going, it's like, wait till you're 50. But,
yeah. 65.
Right, yeah, 78. Anyway,
82.
Right. It just keep going up. But, they're going to start dating. The man ain't got to be me, but have similar traits. A man is supposed to work.
Yeah.
A man is supposed to work, and the man's supposed to work hard. Now, I'm not saying that he had to do the same field or whatever. I'm just saying that a man always supposed to work, but he's always supposed to have his responsibilities, right? But another thing that kept me motivated was I prayed for them girls.
Yeah.
Like, you know our story.
Yeah.
So I don't care how late it get. I'm going to read them a bedtime story. Because there was a time where I wish I had a daughter to read a bedtime story to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the thing that got me like, Lord, you bless me with these girls. So I don't care how late it get.
Wow. I'm
going to read a bedtime story. And I would study. And then every time I fell asleep studying, like book open, and I'm knocked out. I wake up about 2-3 in the morning, close the book, and go to bed. But man, I knew the reason why I was doing it was bigger than me.
Oh, yeah.
It really ain't had nothing to do with me. I was just a vessel that God was going to use. But it had everything. It still does have everything to do with my family.
Right.
So if I had to do it all over again, thank God I don't. But if I had to do it all over again, I would.
For them.
For them.
For sure. For sure. And that's the thing. When it comes to fatherhood, you talked about it earlier. There are some men who are biological fathers, some men who are not. But they are showing up in somebody's life.
Right.
To where they're making a difference in their life. It can be a stepfather. It can be a foster father. It can be a coach.
Right.
It can be a pastor. It can be a youth minister. It can be an encouraging, inspirational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
A mentor.
Right.
But just showing up to make a difference in someone's life makes the biggest difference because that's how important we are to the world. I know we live in a society today where there's a lot of back and forth about whether men should do this, women should do this. Can they do the same thing? Can they do this? Can they do that? When God created us as men, he set an order and a precedent because that's the best way to maximize humanity.
Mm.
And when we as men are in position, being who God has called us to be, we are maximizing humanity. We are maximizing everything within a child. Also partner with the mother, with your wife. Together, you're maximizing that child.
Right.
But it's all about being in the right position.
Right.
It's all about being in the right position.
Everybody has to be in position.
Yes.
And I just want to say this one thing. You talked about showing up. I have 2 instances where just showing up made a person's day. I used to go to one of these guys' church's basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
and he never said this, but I could see it on his face.
Mm-hmm.
When we showed up to the game,
Yeah.
and we loud and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was this one instance where we had like a special handshake.
Mm-hmm.
This was right before he was getting ready to go onto the court, him and his team.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing our special handshake. And there was another guy on his team looking. And he was looking like, man, that's cool. That's dope.
Yeah.
Just that handshake.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is when you just show up,
Yeah.
you ain't got to say nothing.
Yeah.
You show up. Sometimes showing up would do way more than you could ever tell a person.
That's good.
If you saying you're going to be there, be there.
Yeah. If you're saying I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Because showing up, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, when you show up for someone, this is for fathers out there. When we are showing up for our children, we're changing their lives.
That give me goosebumps right there. My Jesus. I remember one time, and this was just recently, we were invited to this birthday party, and it was about an hour and some change away. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't feel like going. It was cold for once, little kids and cold. We were like 2 hours late, and the party was only for like 3 hours. Let me tell you, we were 2 hours late thinking about leaving for the party. My wife was like, well, my wife, she was kind of like, well, babe, you think we ought to, because we are like really late. And I was like that too. I was like, yeah, we are really late. But some of them was like, no, we still gonna show up.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care if we catch them going out.
Still want to show up.
I just want to show up, let them know I said I was going to come. We came. Thankfully, they were just getting started.
Look at that.
I promise you, bro. The party was supposed to happen 3 hours ago.
Look
They
at
were just
that.
pulling up.
The Lord stopping time.
But here's my point. When I got out, the father dapped me up. And you know what the first thing he said?
What'd he say?
Bro, we appreciate y'all coming. That's love.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, that was worth it. If the party got canceled, that was worth it.
Wow.
And so it's all about just showing up.
That's love.
Oh my God. Shout out. That's love. They hung him high.
And stretched him.
That's love. Love, not love. Love. L-U-A. I love God.
I
You
love
God.
Man, Kalani and Zero, they love that song, man.
I ain't gonna lie. It had to grow on me, but I ain't gonna lie. When that song
Man.
come on, I ain't gonna lie. I do.
You should have already been on that one. She got me on the part when she say, you ain't getting no money and moving by yourself. Do it.
And see, the
When
thing
she did-
was,
when they hit that,
I actually
do it.
liked it.
What?
I liked it at the beginning, but you shouldn't like that song. Folks talking about, she too old to be trying to be all hip. And I was like, man, bump that.
Man.
That's why I say I had to grow on me. I didn't care about nobody's opinion after that.
Oh,
And I was like, right.
Right.
TJ
See,
threw the vocals.
man, that song be rocking, but we be cracking up in the car all the time. Everybody got a part too. Like V got a part, Kalani got a part, Zero got a part. Like we turn up praise and worship in the car. Let's do it.
Y'all always turn up, man. Y'all like to stomp the yard of praise and worship.
Pork chop, extra gravy.
I swear.
Hey,
Like,
bro, but I feel like that's sometimes for real though.
I
do
swear
feel like,
TJ3 be like,
man,
going
I'm going in for the kingdom.
I'm like, bro, this just the
we,
first song.
We up. I say that all the time. Lord, we up. Roeski, this was a great conversation, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed hearing you talk about how your wife celebrated you, how she honored you,
Same here, man.
the grind that you endured to continue to show up and be there for your family. It was so encouraging to hear your story. It was so encouraging to know that we as men have to show up. We have to show up because lives depend on it. Our daughters depend on it. Our wives depend on it. People that we serve depend on us showing up. And just the encouraging words to our listeners, to fathers across the world, across the nation, about how we can continue to show up as men of God, continue to show up as husbands, as fathers, as mentors, just being who God has called us to be, because it truly, truly makes a difference. And if we continue to show up, we can continue to make a difference in the lives of those we are showing up for. And we want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It's about that time for us to get out of here. This has been a lot of fun. We want to thank you for hanging out with us, and we look forward to having you join us on this journey as we talk faith, family, and the fundamentals to living a purpose-filled, balanced life through Christ. We're going to laugh together, we're going to learn together, and we are going to grow together as we navigate this life every day, one episode at a time.
That's right. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, and follow us on all of our social media platforms, all located in the show notes. Remember that greatness has no peak. When was the last time you did something for the first time? And where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
It's your boy TJ3.
And it's your boy the Great Roeski. If we checking out, we love you. Godspeed. Yeah.